Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so today, what is today? Today is a Saturday. Today we're diving into the subject that's either humorous or kind of sad. It depends on how you look at it. It's all about your perspective. And I'm talking about the 2 week millionaires, the guys who land in Thailand. They live like kings for 14 days, and then they go back home broke, sunburned, and forgotten, no matter what you say. I think it's kind of funny if you ask me. I don't think it's sad, but it's going to be a little bit raw. And maybe you'll connect with this because, listen, I was a 2 week millionaire at one point. I thought I was it when I first came. The first two trips, I was a 2 week millionaire. So, anyway, hello, everybody. I don't know who's here, but say hello, come into the chat, make sure you join in. Let's see here. Now, in my time here in Thailand, I've seen pretty much, I think, every type of foreigner that you can imagine. The backpackers, the broke backpackers, the retirees who live here on a shoestring, the big money business guys, the digital nomads. Good morning, Ben. The dreamers, the scammers, the drifters. I mean, you name it. And it's just, an accumulation. I've just happened to see them. Um, but today we're not really talking about those. We're talking about a very special breed of expat here, and that is, well, I wouldn't call them rare, um, but they come to Thailand. They shine brightly for a short period of time, and then they vanish. They're here for 2, maybe 3 weeks, but they live like kings while they're here because they can, because it's so cheap here, and they've got the first class swagger. They think they're it. Um, they're the big spender, the one who, maybe they're. This is not a big spender in my book, but still, it's overkill. It's 91 baht for their taxi fare, and they give the guy a 500, and they go, just keep it. It's all right. Um, they've got this attitude that they've made it, and that they're above everybody else, and that means the Thai too. And then in a flash, they're gone. They're going back home. They're back at their desk, saving every penny they can for their next trip. They're microwaving leftovers. They're eating leftovers. They're doing whatever they can to scrimp and save. And they're wondering while they're back home, oh my God, I've got to save and do this all over again. All for those 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I do have a story about a guy that this was in Phuket. And, this guy had come to Phuket several times, and he went to this one particular bar, very successful bar. I knew someone who knew the owner, and I got in there, and I go there every once in a while. But there was a guy there, and he had some girl that whilst he was there, he considered her his girlfriend. And, she used to say that he was her boyfriend. As soon as he left, everything was, everything changed. She wasn't his girlfriend. Now, he continued to think that she was his. She didn't feel that way, of course. So one time he came in and he had his bags. He had like 2 bags, and he wanted to go to the bar. He didn't even want to go to the hotel. So he decided that he was going to go to the bar, and he's taking a motorcycle. And because he had these two bags, somehow he got into he had a motorcycle. He rented a motorbike. So he went, got the motorbike, and then, started driving it. Somehow he got into an accident on the way there. Now, this guy, he drops his bags are all messed up. He's messed up. He's got scratches all over him and scrapes and bruises. I mean, it wasn't a bad accident, but it was bad enough that he got hurt. So he goes to the hospital from the site of the accident, brings his bags with him. He's not in good shape. He doesn't go back to the hotel and drop his bags off. He's like, no, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. He goes back to the bar just so he can be with his big honey. And that's kind of how the 2-week millionaires work. He's like, I got to make every single second count. And, he paid her well, so she didn't care. She was like, all right, whatever, And he was, he was probably 300, 350 pounds, big guy. And he paid her well. So, she did her business when she had to. He wasn't like the kind who was, he wasn't a nympho. He wasn't all over her every minute of the day. He just wanted to go and drink and have a good time. And then, maybe they went back, and then maybe, he want to have his way with her or something. But I just thought that was extremely out there. He didn't even want to go to the hotel at all. He went straight to the bar to go see his girl. And she's not even his girl. And he doesn't even know this. But he thinks because he's shelling out the money, she's his girl. When he's gone and he's in America, well, I send her, $200 a month. She's my girl. And she's working in the bar. And she would say, no, I don't go with anybody, which was complete bullshit. She went with people every single night. She was one of the more well-paid girls at the bar. So, these things kind of happen. And some people, they're not really all that intelligent, which I'm finding out more and more. A lot of people that come to Thailand just for the women. Some of them are very smart, and some of them are just plain stupid. Now, with the 2-week millionaires, they're not all stupid at all. But there's a certain type, and they've got the designer sunglasses, they've got the Hawaiian shirt, they're posting selfies at the hotel pool, and they're captioning it, living the life. And they talk to people like they've been in Thailand for years and years, like it's their home. And it's not their home. So we're going to break that down and, see what it's like from when they arrive to their last night blowout, where they get on the plane and they stagger onto the plane. I mean, I've done this before. Gone out the night before, got to be at a 10 o'clock flight, 10 o'clock in the morning. And you've got to go, to the airport at like 7. So you're waking up and you're all bleary eyed and you can barely see. And then you're staggering onto the plane. And me, I was like, oh, just give me a drink. I'll take a drink because that drink with me being drunk, it'll put me asleep. And then I would sleep for hours and hours. And I used to take a couple of pain pills. I'd be knocked out. And that was the way I got over the depression of flying home after being in Thailand. Because if you know anything about Thailand, if you're just visiting here, if you're a tourist, when you're flying over, you're like, I can't wait to get there. Yeah. For me, I would be like, I'm going to the hotel. I know my hotel. I'm going to go there, get my room, throw my shit down, wash my face. Boom, I'm out the door. I'm going to the bar. I'm going to go hit the bar. I want to go see the girls and see what's going on. Now, granted, when I first started coming over here, I will say the girls were a lot thinner and they didn't have as many tattoos. Now I mean, from what I've seen, it's 98% pig, and out of those 2%, probably 1% has tattoos all over her body, which I'm not into. I'm not into the tattoos. I don't care if I'm just using them for fun or what it is. I'm not into tattoos. Okay. So, in case you don't know, my name is Scott. I'm an American who's been living here in Thailand for the past what? Almost, well, it'll be my 31st year pretty soon. Um, so I've been here a while. But please, if you would, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, hit the notification bell, and, take it from there. If you do that, you should be okay. But, if you want, go down below the video window. There's a button that says join. Hit the join button for $1.99. Um, for $1.99, you can get membership to the site. So, that would be good. I'd appreciate that. If you need to email me for any reason, whether it's a consultation or you want to send me a Dear Scott letter, whatever it is, the email address is anamericaninbangkok@gmail.com. Don't send me some stupid letter where you're telling me, all your problems. And I get, once in a while, I get these letters that are like 5 pages long. I won't read them. If you can't boil down everything into a long paragraph, and I mean a medium length paragraph. Long is the wrong word. Then you don't need to message me. Just remember that. Hey, big fella, I'm not that big. I don't understand why everybody thinks I'm so huge. I'll be over in Bangkok in November. I don't drink beer. I'm sorry. I'm not drinking beer now. I'm trying to get back to my fighting weight, which it's going to take me about 6 months. But greetings. I was one for a long time. So was I. How much am I losing putting 800,000 baht in the bank? You're not losing anything. Um, yeah, I mean, you're not losing anything. You got to pay the transfer fee. But if you want to, anytime you transfer money, you lose a little bit. And the good thing, I think I said something about it on Thursday. The good thing is that for me is I had a Wise account, and that Wise account um, was in Thailand. It was set up in Thailand. I had my Thai address here. I just thought everything's better that way because they don't really care. And then I thought, well, I should change it to the U.S. and get the card, the Wise card. But I always resisted because I thought, it's going to take me a while. I'm going to have to get verified. I might have to change all kinds of things. I might not be able to use any. In the meanwhile, Tom is telling me, oh, I get 3.72% interest. And I'm like, really? You're getting interest on the money you keep in the account? He's like, yep. I'm like, not bad. If I kept $2,000, $3,000 in there, at least I make a little something, you know. So I just started thinking about it. Then when I went and did my, um, I went and did my, went up to the bank accounts, got my facial recognition. I just thought, man, this is bullshit. This whole facial recognition thing, and you've got to call up every time you want to make a transfer more than 50,000 baht, and I'm just like, this is bullshit. I mean, that's the kind of thing that will make me think about going somewhere else. And I said to my wife this morning, I go, I know you're never going to move anywhere. And she goes, if we got the money, I'll move. And I said, well, I got money coming in every month. That money comes every single month. That pays the bills. If we had a place in Ecuador, my money would pay all the bills, and there would be, we'd still have a little bit of money left over. And she stopped for a second. She's like, we're going to need more money than that. And she's trying to get her farm set up and everything. Um, we're supposed to get the fish any day now for our fish farm, and then we're gonna put in a chicken coop and it's gonna be a coop that's inside of a fenced-in area, so they can only go so far, but they're free range. They get to walk. I don't know how big it is, 20 meters by 20 meters or something. And so then we get eggs, and then we have duck also. So then we'll be pretty much set up for the farm. And that alone could generate a little bit of money. So maybe, I don't know, maybe in the next 3 years or so, maybe we'll do that. I don't know. You got the Ecuador thing, and there's part of me that really loves Ecuador, and I love like where my friend lives in Ayampe, and the beach is right there. I mean, it's like you just walk 5 minutes and there's the beach. I love that. And the beach is nice. And it's not the best beach, but it is a nice beach. It's not great. It's good. But I also like Portugal. And I'm like, maybe we should go to Portugal and go somewhere, like out on the coast, a little ways from the coast, where we can go to the beach in 10 minutes or so. And, so I am always thinking about this. And the banking thing is something, it's not enough to drive me out of here. But if they start implementing all kinds of conditions on foreigners here, even foreigners with retirement visas. Listen, I told the story about how I went in SCB and they didn't even want to let me open an account up with a retirement visa. Oh, you need a work permit. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't need a work permit. I've got all these things. I don't need that. And then when I said I had a marriage certificate, they go, oh, okay, no problem. And I'm like, why do I need a marriage certificate? That's ridiculous. What about all the people that aren't married? And there's a lot of people they're older, they're retired, they just want to have their way with women every once in a while, maybe once a week. They get a chick comes over, that's their little weekly, they get their rocks off. What visa, Daniel? Curious to know. Oh, well, you're here. You're in Kanchanaburi, right? Make farming videos. Well, I'm working on that. I have a lengthy group of clips. It's about 2 hours of clips that I want to get down to about 25 minutes. So I'm working on that. It's got drone footage. It's got drone footage of drone footage of when our farm had nothing on it. And now we have footage where there's a lot of things on it. Cha'am, hey, how you doing, man? Are you into hydroponics with the farming there? No, I'm not. I don't even really do anything there. I mean, I'll be honest. I don't. Yeah, listen, I'm 63 years old. You want me to go out there and, I mean, to me, I'm like, I shouldn't have to do that. There are people that will do that. I mean, that's how I look at it. And I mean, the things that I want to do there, that's my own little niche. When it comes to the farming, there's a few things that I like to do there, but not much. We don't have sick buffaloes. And Scotty never paid for a sick buffalo either. That's just ridiculous. And what's funny is that my wife does this and she just goes, okay, here you go. I'm the one who, I tell them, well, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, and that's about it. No, thank you. I don't want your fertilizer. Always with the fertilizer comments. Yeah, I mean, I don't have to worry about it much. It's her house. I mean, I can go there, use it anytime I want. I can go there alone. It doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. It's my house. But technically, on paper, it's hers. And I don't really care. And I'm not putting a lot of money into it. She is. And so to me, I'm like, okay, well, do what you want. But, I do recommend her. I asked her, I said, well, what's the deal with the fish farm? She said, the reason the fish farm is long and not just round is because it's next to the Dorian. and the water that goes to the durian and the water that goes in the fish farm, the water from the fish farm will go to the durian, and then the durian it's got, we're watering it and we're doing things with it, but yeah, well, that's another topic. My seats. This guy's a fucking asshole. I want to hit him. I mean, really, I want to fucking punch him. But I know that that's not the way to get things done. And so what I'll do is I'll come in at 5 minutes to 8. I'm not coming in tomorrow. But on Monday or Tuesday, when I come in, I'll come in at 5 minutes to 8, and I'll be sitting there, and he'll walk around the corner like he did the other day, and he'll, oh, you're sitting in my chair. No, it's been my chair for years. I've been sitting there for years. I come in today, and I decided to come in 20 minutes after the hour instead of coming in right at 8 o'clock. And he's sitting in my chair, and I'm like, you bastard. He sits right where I'm sitting right now all the time. And instead, he just goes and sits. There's nobody else here. It's just me and him. That's it. And I wanted to say to him, you know, dude, you know, well, if he gets here at 8:45, I'll already be here. So what is it? I live close by too. So what does it matter? I've been here for longer than he has, far longer. And quite frankly, I find it funny that he goes and sits where I sit every day. He takes my chair. I mean, I could talk to him about it, but I don't want to give him the satisfaction because I think he's doing it on purpose. No, I don't want to. Yeah, I got seniority. That's right. I don't want to talk to him. Listen, I don't want to talk to the guy. I don't like the guy. I don't like him just because of how he is. He comes in and he's got all this food. He's got like 5 different pieces of food sitting there. He is George Costanza. He's got 5 different types. He's got, you know, like an apple and a Coke and a Schweppes soda and some rice and beans or rice and chicken, whatever. He's got all these things. And then he's got a snot rag below the table. So I don't even want to sit next to him because he disgusted me. And then when he does, he'll be like sitting there, and then I'll look over and he's like, he's knocked out. So my way is that I just get here at 5 till 8 every time I want to get that seat. And, you know, he's only come twice when I've been in that seat. And he just came right back to here. He probably thought, well, what am I going to do? You know. Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. It's like he could sit anywhere else. But instead he sat in my seat. So whatever. You know, you think it's meaningless. I don't. See, it's meaningless to you because it didn't happen to you. It's not happening to you. You don't know what it's like to come to a place and everybody knows you and you go and sit in the same spot every day, almost every day, 5 out of 7 days. And then some nitwit who, I don't know what the guy's doing. I don't know what he's doing here. He's a Nigerian, and I always have my doubts about them. So, you know, who knows? When his visa expires, he may not come here anymore. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Oh, God, shut up. It's not a sense of entitlement, dude. It's not a sense of entitlement. And the thing is I don't ever say anything to him because the seat doesn't have my name on it. I understand that. I'm saying out of courtesy, the guy knows I sit there every day. I wouldn't come and sit in his seat every goddamn day, beat him to the seat by 5 minutes so he can't sit in his spot. It's not like the place is full. It's empty. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just telling you, you know, to some people, it's like, oh, why is it such a big deal? It's not a big deal. You see, I'm sitting here. I didn't say anything about it. Somebody else said something about it. I think it was 2 quarters Fraser. Listen, that's how I always think. And since you don't really know me that well, I'll tell you, I used to think in my head, I would be thinking to myself, I'm going to just knock this guy out. I'm going to crack him. And I know I'll knock him out. And then I think to myself, whoa, 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 wait a minute. What is that violent tendency that you have in your brain? And I don't have that anymore because I just tell myself, it ain't worth it. So there you go. So please stop trying to analyze me because I don't need your fucking analyzing. I really don't. Anyway, let's talk about the two-week millionaires. That's what we're here for. Now, you know what really seals the deal with the 2-week millionaire? Um, the way they, yeah, exactly. It's a Florida thing. Uh, the way they walk around like they've cracked the code on life. They're sitting at the beach bar with their shirt undone or no shirt on. You know, they got it down, unbuttoned down to their belly. They're sipping a cocktail with a plastic flower, and they feel like they're like the Dalai Lama on some vacation wisdom. You know, they'll say things like, "Man, I could totally retire here right now if I wanted to." And meanwhile, you know, their credit card is screaming because they're maxed out. They're overdrawn on their credit card because they're they've already, you know, asked for an advance. Oh, can I get an extra 10,000 baht, please? Can I get that $300? I would appreciate it. Plus, they still owe on their, you know, 1999 Toyota Corolla, and then they'll be bragging about how cheap Thailand is. I had dinner here for $3. Listen, I could have dinner here for $1 if I wanted. I could have it here for 50 cents if I really wanted. I could find it. That's no big feat here in Thailand. You can get it as cheap as you really want. It's a matter of, do you want to live like that all your life? And I can tell you, I don't want to live like that. I eat lamb chops. I eat steaks. You know, uh, eggs, which, you know, everybody has. I eat all kinds of good food. And, you know, I've eaten a lot of Thai food. The reason I don't eat a lot of Thai food now is because the base is either rice or it's noodles. And I don't want that starch because for me, that starch is a problem. You know, that's why I like to eat the food that I eat. My idea of a 2-week millionaire was spending a pre-made budget passed out next to a girl or two. Well, yeah. Um, of course, there's the girls that are involved. But you know, they think that there's something special because they go and buy a 10,000 bottle of whiskey or something, and the waitress calls him a handsome man, and they think, oh yeah, I'm the shit, man. I mean, when, you know, listen, that happens. People do that. When you come here in the very beginning, you talking to me, me, you know. I mean, I've had girls call me cute. I've had girls call me handsome once in a while, but that was a long time ago when I had hair. Um, and so it's kind of funny. And in a way, it's a little bit sad, if you will, but I just don't find it all that sad because the guy comes, he has his fun, he does whatever. And the funniest thing is that the locals don't really even, they're just going through the motions. You know, when a girl in Pattaya, you walk by and she goes, "Hey, handsome man, you please come inside. Oh, where you come from?" She doesn't know anything. She's just mouthing off the English that she knows, trying to get you interested to come into the bar, and that's about it. Um, the locals, they spot the guy who's willing to part with his money. They look at him and they go, "This guy's a dummy. Let me see how much money I can get out of him." That's what they know. When I was traveling back and forth, I appreciate staying in the local areas in Bangkok, learning about the real Thailand. Well, one thing that I have learned from the time that I got here is that money is extremely important. It is the most important thing. Now, there are things like integrity and ethics and uh, morals and things like that. Of course, those are important. But when it comes to living and getting things done and getting things that you want, getting things that you need, it's a trade. You give them the money and they give you what you supposedly need or what you want. And that's what I learned in the very beginning. And I remember there was one girl and I kind of liked her. And she was a player, she was a hoe. And you know, I said to her, "Listen, why don't you stay with me for a month?" "Oh, I don't think you have the money." And I said, "Well, you might be surprised, but what do you need?" She goes, I get 50,000 from man. He don't stay in Thailand. So this guy's sending you 50,000 baht a month. Yeah. And I go, "But you're not with him." She goes, "No, only like one time every 3 months." And I said, "Well, I can't touch that. I'm not paying you 50,000 baht, honey." And that was the end of her. Yeah. I mean, somebody asked about, "Oh, what's your favorite go-go?" I don't have a favorite go-go. I have no favorite go-go's. I haven't been to a go-go bar, well, since I went to Pattaya. But before that, it's been years, years. And I mean, of course, I used to have a lot of favorite go-go's. I mean, the go-go that was my favorite was the one with the good-looking girl in it. That's it. I didn't care what the name of the place was. I didn't care about any of that. Listen, just I go into one place, there's no good-looking girls there. All right, I'm gonna go to the next place. Oh, there's three here. Wow, maybe I can take all of them. That was me. You got to pay if you want to play. Uh, and that's why if you hook up with a girl who's not thinking about the money first and foremost all the time, she's thinking about, well, she's your friend, she's your lover, she's this, she's that. Well, with some of them, then you hook up and that's it. It's a done deal. You got everything you need. Um, yeah, the other thing is that the girls, you got to remember something. Some girl told me something a long time ago. She goes, "You think you special?" I said, "I am special because I'm me." And she goes, "Many men like you." And I thought about that and I thought, okay, I'm my own person, but there are many men out there that are just like you. You know, I mean, and the girls are like, "Hey, is there something that he's doing? Is he treating me? Does he make me feel a certain way that other guys don't make me feel?" And if you can make her feel a little bit different than the other guy does in a positive way, then maybe you're in. You know, the girl, the girl who was the barista is over here dancing. Should I put you on camera? No, she doesn't want to be on camera. I don't know what she's doing. Now, as soon as I turn the camera, she goes back to dancing. They have this bravado. No, believe me, she's not. They have the big talk. They have the oversized wallet because they're carrying everything that they've saved. Now, some guys haven't. They got money, but they have set aside, oh, I'm going to spend $5,000 in 3 months, 3 weeks, which is a lot. But some guys do that, right? They come and, they're willing to piss their money away. And then listen, Thailand doesn't remember you. It doesn't remember you unless you're here for a long time. And, now I'm like, okay, there'll be a couple of people that remember me here, but that's it. I'll be gone. When I die, I'm gone. No more. People won't remember. People will remember me a little bit on the internet. Yeah, okay. And then, oh, yeah, remember that guy? He used to be funny, or that guy was an asshole, or that guy was really, harsh, or he was sharp, or whatever it was. That's what'll happen. Now, when she's going, Hannah, what are you doing? Kamalaya. Pai kang nok ko ten ma. Ten tinay. Ten chơi chơi. She just feels like dancing, she said. Matang food, okay. She's like, no, you don't have to speak. Don't speak about it. She's shy. Anyway, these guys, I don't know, maybe she's drank like 3 or 4 double espressos. When they get here, they come into Suwon or wherever they're flying into. And they got the 2-week vacation, but they're packed like they're invading the country. They've got 3 or 4 suitcases. They've got duty-free whiskey under one arm, a phone under the other. They're already streaming on Facebook. They've been here like 45 minutes and already have deep insights into Thai culture. Like, the airport is pretty nice. Oh, God. That's a deep insight. Can you retire with what gave you that idea? 150,000. I mean, if you spent $1,000 a month, that's 12,000. So let's say you spent $15,000 in a year. You would last a little bit more than 10 years. That's it. I've stayed like that with a carry-on for almost every single trip I've taken in the last 10 years. And going to even more than that. Now, maybe I'll carry my laptop in a separate bag, but like the last time I went to Surat, I carried one little backpack. The last time I went around the world, I went to numerous different places. We went to Ireland and Portugal and Ecuador and the U.S., and then we went to Hong Kong. We went to London, and there was one other place, France, I think. And I did it with a backpack. That was it. I had all my clothes. Now, I am going to buy another backpack probably in the next couple of weeks because the backpack I have has a hole in it. So, listen, you can't do it. I'm telling you. If you think you can do it, give it a try then. Go ahead. Let me just ask you something. Have you ever been to Thailand? I just have to ask, just to be sure. She's pretty good, actually. How many times and for how long? All right. You're still a tourist. And I can tell you that, first of all, $15,000 a year is peanuts. It's peanuts. It really is. It's nothing. I mean, if you were to say $1,500 to $2,000, well, that's only 10 months at $1,500. So you're not going to stay all that long. And you're saying you're going to earn 10% per year. And what I'm going to say is you have no guarantee you're always going to earn 10%. You may, but guess what? You may not. So you're going to need more than that. You'll find how old are you? I mean, $150,000 is like you could be a 2-week millionaire for you're 31. Forget about it. Forget about it. You're 31. You're not going to get Social Security for more than 30 years. And it may be 35 years by the time you get to it. So forget about it. Yeah, 25, 30,000. I would say 24,000 is $2,000 a month. Now, that's pretty good. I mean, you can live off of that if you're smart with your money. Because if you're not smart with your money, you'll go and you'll live in some place and you'll be like, I don't care if I spend half my money on my apartment, I'm never going out. And then, you want to eat food. Guess what? Every time you go out, you think, oh, I'm going to just spend 100 baht or 70 baht or whatever it is. It just doesn't work that way. If I was to go to Mr. Two Quarters Korean knows this, if I went over to Minato, it would cost me at least 500 baht. Maybe, two guys, it might be 1,500 baht. That's, almost 50 bucks. So, I mean, it's just ridiculous that if you think you're going to get by on that, I'm telling you, it's not going to work. It just won't. You can say, well, I've got all this money and I'm going to live and I'm making 10% every year. And okay, do what you want. The guys don't want to listen. Now, if you say 3,000, that gives you money that if you want, you can put it in an account and save it. You're spending 2,300. You go, I got an extra $700. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to go out and blow it. No, you put it into stocks. You put it into whatever you want. Yeah, and I'll say one thing. When I was not married, I pissed away so much money. I mean, I pissed away ungodly amounts of money. 10,000 a month. Once I got married, I mean, listen, in the beginning of my marriage, I still carried around 50,000 baht in my pocket. Now, there were no QR codes and things like that. But I used to carry around wads of cash. That's the point. Not that I was rich, but, I'd be like, hey, this is what I got to spend for this month. Put it in my pocket. Let's go. Give my wife 50,000 to pay the bills, a little bit of money for herself. We're good to go. But if you figure that out over 30 years, I mean, that's just 30 years until you get, it was a party. There were some big parties, 5 naked girls in a room cost you. But, all those things, I'm just saying if you only have 150,000, that's not much at all. Now, he's not commenting about all this. He's only 31. I mean, it's 31 years until you hit Social Security age as of now. By the time that 31 years comes, you might have to be 67 in order to collect money. So that means you got a longer period of time. Then you got to think about, okay, first of all, how are you going to get a visa? What visa are you going to get? An education visa? You're going to get a DTV visa? What's the other one? The K something visa? I forgot what it is now. LTR visa, long-term resident visa. What would you estimate as a monthly food budget for a couple? A mix of cooking high-quality meals at home and eating out at moderately priced. Dude, I don't even want to get into that because, I mean, I think about what I spend, and granted, we're paying for 2 kids also, but I've said it before. I mean, bare minimum, we spend about 20,000 a month. Now we could cut it down by eating out every time. We don't eat all that much Thai food, and now I don't eat Thai food because I'm trying to slim down, and I don't want to eat that shit because if I eat noodles, it's huge amount of carbs. If I eat rice, I mean, you're going to eat rice. You want to eat it in small portions, and you want to eat brown rice. If it's $1,000, well, $1,000 for 2 people, yeah, you would be doing pretty good because that's about what we spend now. Is $1,000, and I'll tell you, for the next 2 months, I told myself I'm going to try to tighten it down and see, can I get by, my portion of the $1,000 is probably $750, $800. Can I get it down to $500? Can I spend a lot less? I'm going to try to do that. And the reason is now I know about what I eat every day. I know how I buy food from, say, Bangkok Bob's or British Shop or, some place like that, Paleo Robbie, whatever it might be. We had 30 eggs about 3 days ago, and now we have 6. That's 3 days ago. So we went through 24 eggs in 3 days. So now I need to buy some. I want to cook ground beef, eggs, and vegetable salad at home. When I've done it before, I was able to cook good, healthy meals. I was hoping around 30,000 baht per month. I think that's more than enough for 2 people. Yeah. Yeah. There is no hurry. There's no hurry to get over here. I mean, I know people go, well, Thailand is changing and you better get over here and experience it while you can. Listen, it's been changing for as long as I've been here. It's been changing for years and years. They used to have a visa agent inside of Nana Plaza. Okay. Now they just don't do that anymore. These guys just think you're going to walk into the mall. Oh, God. The mall doesn't open for another 40 minutes. Um, yeah, I mean, listen, my biggest regret is I could have saved probably $200,000 if I had stayed in Palm Desert for another 3 years. I could have socked away 200,000. And to be honest, I've thought about going back to work and I've really taken it under consideration. And I just think, you know what? I value my time too much now. I have enough money where I'm comfortable. And so I'm like, do I really want to go back? Not really. I don't. I don't want to work until I'm 70. And then I hit 70 and I go, well, I wonder how much longer I'm going to live. And I die in like another 2 months or something. I've been coming to Thailand for 20 years. I'll wait until I retire. I mean, there's there's nothing that says you absolutely must move here when you're young. There's nothing that says um, money. It's not life or death. It has nothing to do with that. It's about stashing a large chunk of money in 3 or 4 years. So by the time I'm say 64, I could have a job and I'm making $500-600 a day, and I stash most of that. And I think, wow, I could sock away another couple $100,000, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me. I'm like, holy shit, 200,000-300,000 is not worth it to me. You know, um, Jesus Christ. But you said you have money, so why do you need more? What are you going to do with the 200? Ben, you have. It seems to me that you're. How old are you, dude? I have 200,000. That 200,000 could be gone in a flash. I can live well without going and doing that. But I could set up all kinds of things that I don't have to wait. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to plan so easily, so I don't have to plan so meticulously to try to save a certain amount of money. I don't have to do any of that. If I went back to work and I made $300,000, I could go, all right, well, 250,000 goes here and there's another 50,000, you know, but I don't have to do that. So that's, I mean, I considered it for a couple of minutes and then I just went, my time is more valuable, you know. But again, you know, Ben, first of all, how old are you? Second of all, I don't know, I don't remember, I'm sorry, if you've been to Thailand or you live in Thailand. Um, I think you do live in Thailand. I don't remember, or you're moving with your girlfriend. I don't remember. You know, I'm sorry. I get too many people and I can't always keep it all straight. Um, but I don't believe you've been here very long because some of the questions you asked to me, they're, I don't want to say naive, but they're questions that I don't even ask. If you could have another $300,000, wouldn't you want it? You know, I would. If you tell me, you know, I'll give you 300,000, all you have to do is work for 3 years. And this is your savings. This is not what you're spending while you're there, while you're, I mean, you know, so it doesn't really, oh, fuck. That's the last thing I want to do here. I don't want to start a business here. No way. I don't care what anybody says. And I know there are successful people out there, but I think the number of people that fail compared to the number of people that succeed. Tom had 2 businesses here. He failed at both of them. I hate to say it, but he did. He had a language translation program where if he was lucky, he made $500 or $1,000 a month. And that was really lucky. And he had some other business a while back that was part of the American, what is it, the Amnesty Treaty. And that apparently failed as well. And, you know, opening a bar is about the dumbest idea anybody can do. Really. It's about the dumbest idea that anybody can do. I don't want to be involved in that scene. I'm not a drinker. I don't want to be a drinker. I'm in fairly good shape. I don't want to open a bar. I don't give a shit about it. I'd rather open a coffee shop. And let me tell you something. Nowadays, coffee shops are a dime a dozen. You're not going to make much from one coffee shop. If you're lucky, maybe you make $2,000, $3,000. That's lucky. Now, if you're only making $1,000 and you've got 10 locations, then maybe, you know. Yeah, but the thing is now I have money. My wife has money. We have money. I don't have to do any of that shit. Why? I don't have to. I mean, I've seen plenty of dumbasses who got involved in bars. They lost their bar to their girlfriend, which is about the dumbest thing that you can do. My friends had a bar in Nana Plaza. It was, I think it was under the Mandarin, whatever the little bar, or next to the Mandarin. It was to the right of the Mandarin. And they were smart guys. They're not stupid. They've been around the block. I mean, the one guy had been here as long as I have. Now, this is 15, 20 years ago. He had been here as long as I had, and the other guy had been here for probably 5 years more than me. And they started a bar, and what they said was, well, we have to pay tea money to the police. By the time they paid their staff, by the time they paid their tea money, by the time they paid for all of their expenses, they were lucky to break even. And so they ended up getting rid of it after about a year. They just went, it's not worth it. Yeah, I know, but I'm asking you a question. How old are you, and do you live here? Why would anyone move to Thailand to basically get a job opening bars, etc., just for their egos? Now, I know people that work in bars, and it's because it's a job. They just want a job. They need money. And I know guys that they've made pretty good money at it. But you're either in the bar scene, it's your industry, it's your business, it's what you do, or you're not. And I'm not. And believe me, I've been in a lot of bars in my life, but I don't want to be involved in it. I don't want to be involved in the guys get drunk and they start bickering about something that they shouldn't bicker about, and then they start fighting, and I don't want to be involved in everybody getting drunk. And hey, the nights everybody gets smashed and you have a good time, you go home, and you don't even really know who the girl is, but you're banging your brains out, you're loving it, you're drunk. Oh wow, that's great. But that's few and far between. Um, so yeah, well then do it right, Ben. I would say do it right. Take your time, save up your money, and then when you're ready to come over here and you've got plenty of money, don't do it when you're like scraping by or you're like, well, this might be enough. I would not do that. When I did it, it was because I knew I had options if something didn't work. And then what happened is I started building things up, and the next thing I know, I go, wow, I'm comfortable here. And now it's been, almost 31 years. Well, Steve, it to me is a huge pain because first of all, you're working at night. I don't particularly like that, but okay, I can do it. Second of all, you're around people that are getting drunk all the time. Third of all, you got people that sometimes they're just miserable and they're just assholes. And you got to be decent. You can't just beat the shit out. Because my first thought is, listen, you got some guy in and he's an asshole and you want him out. You just tell him to leave. And if he doesn't leave, you beat the shit out of him. But that's not how it works. I mean, to me, that's, you maybe you got a stick behind the counter and you beat the piss out of him. But you can't do that. Even here, you can't do that. So there's a lot of things that you don't think about. And then it's like, for how much money? How much money are you going to make? If you own the place, now maybe you might make some money. But when COVID hit, all kinds of places went out of business. Yeah, well, let me just tell you something. I would never be with a Thai girl who didn't have a job, didn't have her own money, and who was constantly going, I need 20,000 for this. I need 30,000 for this. I need 3,000 for. I would never have that. And I think about what I just said. I know we're away from the 2 week millionaire thing, but I think about if I was to go to Ayampe in Ecuador, I could live very well. I just buy a little house. We could live very well. My wife said, well, the kids are going to do what they're going to do. And I said, would you really leave them for a year? And she's like, well, I might if we had enough money. And I'm like, I know you. You're going to want to start a business. And I don't want to start a restaurant and have to work there. So if we were to go to somewhere like Portugal, oh, wow, it's new. Then you got to learn the whole culture over again. And I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but I'm really comfortable here. And yes, I don't like some of the things that are going on. But if I just find a little loophole, a little shortcut, just like I said, for me, I got the Wise card. Now, if I really need some money, I can just transfer 10,000 baht here. I got some cash. Or just tell my old lady, listen, let me have 1,000 baht cash. I'll give it to you the next time I take some money out. Okay, easy. I just use my Wise card to pay for everything because generally you can pay for things with a card. If you don't have the card, you take the money out, you transfer the money from Wise, and you get your cash. Jono, how you doing? A bar, so your staff of nearly all women will probably be making more money than you, the owner. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is, think about all the girls that are saying, boss, I need 1,000 baht. Can you give me some of my salary early? That happens all the time. And they're saying, hey, if you want, I'll blow you. Just give me give me 5,000 baht ahead of my salary. Oh, wow, I get a blowjob. Now, you think my wife's going to like that kind of stuff? Of course not. She'd have to be extremely involved. Now, my wife doesn't want to be involved in a bar, and neither do I. The bar will own you. It'll be your life. Listen, some of you may know the guy that I'm talking about. I'm not going to name any names. I don't even remember his name, quite honestly. But he's an Aussie. Met some girl, and like, I don't know, 2, 3 months later, he got a bar with her. Put everything in her name. And I don't know, month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. She took his bar, said, no, I don't need you here. Took his truck that supposedly he was letting the brother drive. He never got anything in his name, never signed anything off. And he lost it all. And then he was begging people for money so he could get something going again, so that he could take her to court and all this other kind of stuff, which he had a guy on that lost everything to a woman. And I'm like, you guys just don't understand it. You really don't understand it. Why would you leave yourself in a position where you're destitute? Ever? Why would you ever do that? Why would you leave yourself like that? That's just stupid. You're just an idiot. And the women are not stealing the money from you most of the time. It's you giving it away to them. That's generally what happens. Stun gunning a Coke to the Gilles Brit out of the bar. Yeah, oh, that sounds like fun. Move to Eson and raise buffalo. No, thank you. That's what everybody says. Oh, you're living the dream. It doesn't feel like a dream to me. I set it all up myself. I wanted to do it. I did it. And I look at it like I did something that a lot of people are too scared to do. Some people can never do. But I did it myself. And yeah, I had some luck. She's still dancing. She's been dancing this whole time. It's really funny. So that's how I think about it. I'm not like living a dream. I'm living through something that I put the work in and learn how to do everything that needs to be done. And sometimes it's stuff that anybody can learn. Sometimes it's stuff that it takes a bit of persistence to get it done. Bronx Pizza is an eternal mystery, as is the Indian restaurant next to it. You could have the next Buzzin' Lounge in Pattaya. Surefire success. Why do I want a buzzing? I don't want to live in Pattaya. For what? If I'm going to live anywhere, it's going to be Kanom or somewhere in Suratani province or Nakhon Si Thammarat. I'm going to live in the south, man. I'm not living in Pattaya. There's no way. Or I live on an island, and even that is a bit problematic. Being a water buffalo vet seems there's a lot of sick buffalo. Listen, I had one girl tell me that she had a daughter. Now, you couldn't tell. Her body was immaculate. You couldn't tell that she had a daughter. But she told me, oh, my daughter's in the hospital. I said, wow. You need 10,000 baht, huh? Yes, I need 10,000 baht. I said, well, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. And then I said to her, listen, here's the deal. How about you show me the papers from the hospital, and then I will pay them. Oh, cannot. And I just went, oh, then I cannot. And nowadays I think about it and I go, okay, let's go to the hospital. I don't care where it is. Let's go. Take me there. Let me see. I want to see what's going on. It's have her make a video call from the hospital. And that doesn't cut it either. Look, at my humble bar, you can just own a bar. Just don't have it your primary source of income. Breaking even should be your highest aspiration. If you think like that, that's a good thing. If you think I'm putting money into it that I have to blow, if you've got $1 million and you go, listen, I'm going to put 50,000. I can buy this bar for 25, and I'll put another 25 into renovating it, to running the place and things like that. Okay. Well, then That money's not going to hurt you if you lose it. That's a completely different story if you do something like that. There's already a vet for water buffalo, Western. Listen, I haven't heard that bullshit in years. I haven't heard, oh, Papa have heart attack. Oh, buffalo sick. Oh, Mama, she in hospital. Oh, my sister, she need go school. It's 100,000 baht. I haven't heard any of that bullshit. You know why? Because I just don't surround myself with that shit kind of person. And I understand they're just trying to get by, but generally, people who are trying to get by, they work, they make a good living, or they strive to make a better living, and they're not just bugging people to give them money. So that's why I didn't hook up with a bar girl. I don't want some girl coming to me all the time. Scott, can you give me money? Scott, I need 5,000. Scott, I need 10,000, please. Honey, oh, tonight I suck your dick. Oh, you're so wonderful. You have big dick. I love so much. You give me 10,000, no problem. I do for you. You think I want to hear that shit? You could always try a gents club. Instead, they're always packed, have plenty of curtains, and it'll be a cash cow. You have no idea, my friend. You really don't have an idea. A gentleman's club. Okay. Yeah, you're generating more money, but you're also spending more money. The girls want more money. They're more of a pain in the ass. And all for what? I mean, it's just stupid, honestly. That is the tie. It's just like watch the movie Saint Jack. Okay. It was written by Louis, what's his name? Louis Theroux, Henry Thoreau. Okay. Um, and you look at what he wrote in Saint Jack, and you can find the movie if you know where to get movies and stuff like that. You can find the movie. Okay. Oh, yeah. Huge. Well, that's one guy. Okay. And you don't know that he probably has Thai partners. So he may be making a huge fortune, but he's one guy. He is not the norm. There's not 100 guys with gentlemen clubs that are foreigners that are making a bundle of money. It's just not happening. And I would say, again, I recommend watching the movie Saint Jack. It's about a guy named Jack. He's a hustler. And what he does, he's a foreigner. He's a Guilo living in Singapore before it became Singapore. And he was into the nightlife and women and bars and brothels, and so he was into that. And so what he used to do to make an extra buck is he would take a couple guys. He'd say, "Okay, listen, you need to you want to go. You want a beautiful Chinese girl. Let me take you to her." He takes the guy to her, and the guy will go, "Well, how much is it?" And maybe it's 3,000. We'll say 3,000. Say 3,000 baht. 5,000 for you. Oh, it's a little steep. Yeah, I know, but she's the girl you want. Okay, gives 5,000. He keeps the 2,000 for himself. So he started out doing that, right? That's how he made a living. And he worked for a company where he did exports and he helped them with it and stuff. So he was able to get by. He's had this idea in his head. I'm putting money away because I want to open up a brothel. And they told him, no, this is the Chinese area. This is the triad area. They are the ones who deal with this. And he was like, yeah. I know people. I'm good. Don't worry. He opens the place up. Now they come to him and they warn him. They say, you cannot have this place. This is not your place. We don't want you owning a brothel. This is for the triads and for the natives and the Chinese. He continually says, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm going to do it my way. So finally they come, they grab him, they put him in a car, they take him somewhere, they strap him down to a chair, and they tattoo him all over with nasty Chinese sayings all over his body. And then they throw him on the side of the road. They go into his brothel. They beat the shit out of the girls that they find there. They bust up the brothel. And they say, you're not in business anymore. And that's how they got rid of him. And then it's, how's he going to fight back? How's he going to make a living now? What's he going to do? What's he thinking of? So that's what the entire movie's about. But the thing is that's exactly how it is here. You think the Thais want to let all kinds of people in? If you're making 100%, you're probably not keeping more than 25% because you got to pay everybody out. And the police, listen, it's not corruption. It's the cost of doing business. Now, let me see here. A friend of mine has several bars, wasted tons of cash on them, but doesn't care. Earned millions in IT. Yeah, okay, so he's just playing around. Yeah, how many gentlemen's clubs are there? All you have to do is go down Ekamai, and there's all kinds of clubs. Now, there used to be a club there that was called Jet. Then I went, it was Miami. They changed names. I go back, I don't even know what it's called now. Okay, I used to go to Sherbert. It's not Sherbert, it's Shubert. 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 Shebert. I used to go to there all the time with my boxing team, the guys that, I worked with. We'd go in, there'd be 5 of us. Now, 3 or 4 of us didn't even drink. So they want to bring out whiskey and stuff like that. Now, once in a while, we would just get trashed on tequila. And we get the girls all trashed. And, we'd all have our fun. But for the most part, we just sat there and drank water, Red Bulls, a soda. That's what we drank. And we just sat back and watched. That's what we did there. And I can tell you that there's been probably 5 places on that street, and probably 2 are still open. That's it. So, you might have one guy that's making it, and the rest are probably not. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm just going to say stupid idea. That's all I'm going to say. Stupid idea. Now, usually what is the first stop of the 2-week millionaire? It's a bar. It's the hotel lobby bar. Maybe they've been in Bangkok for just an hour, and they're constantly talking about how they might move here. And I still remember when I first came here and I was on a trip, I had this girl, beautiful girl. She ended up staying with me for 3-4 months, and I didn't pay her, but she was for pay. And we went out and we went to Pattaya, and we got so drunk. And I just remember thinking to myself, this is the best thing ever. She's so gorgeous, and I can't see myself being without her. I'll take her back to America. I'll do anything. And once I sobered up, I went, what am I saying? What am I thinking? What am I doing? It was just ridiculous what I was thinking. And I just thought to myself, I don't know these people. You may think you know them. Oh, I've been there a month for 5 times. And you may think you really know this girl. You don't know shit about her. I mean, really. I'm not just picking on one person in particular. I'm saying you don't know her. You may never know her. Let me tell you something. I've come to this place for probably 3 years. I come 4 or 5 times a week. I've seen these girls come and go, but there have been numerous girls that have stayed. There are the girl dancing here. She's just dancing up a storm. I don't know what she's doing. She's nuts. She's kind of dancing sexy too. But I've seen some of these girls. I'll tell you what. There's probably 3 or 4 girls that have been here for a long time. One of them, I talked to her, and it's superficial. Another one, I can barely talk to her. She like never smiles or rarely smiles. Another one has been gone for a while. She came back. She just came back. Now I can talk to her a little bit and she understands English and, okay. And the other one is the one dancing. And she's kind of nice. But the point is that I don't really know them. I know that one or two of them has a boyfriend. I got no idea what the guy does. I know one lives with their boyfriend. I don't know about the other one. I don't know anything about them. Now, I don't need to get to know them because I'm married and I don't really give a shit. And if I did give a shit, I would probably know them a little bit better, but I wouldn't know them. That's my point. You may think you know them, but you don't really know them. All right, what does this say here? Oh, God. Female goats. Okay, Billy, that'll work. I went into Pokemon mode. You would have had plenty of fun in Therme back in the day, a classic Bangkok. How do you know this, Fraser? Yes, I went to Therme when it was open until 6 or 7 in the morning. And when all the bar girls used to go there after, well, many of the bar girls would go there after their shift was over at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. They would go there. The place would be packed. It was awesome. I got into a fight there and almost got thrown in jail. I had to go to court for a year because of that. So I know Therme pretty well. I have no idea what it's like now. And I don't want to know, because that was at one portion of my life, and that time is over. But big deal. What do I want to go there for? The people that you're making there, they're not, I mean, some of them might be office workers or work at the Pizza Hut or something like that. But most of them, they're not people that are like the manager of, I'm looking over at a girl right now, the manager of Swenson's, the manager of a coffee shop, a lawyer, a doctor, an an accountant, a bookkeeper. That's not what they are. That is kind of like they are the dregs of society, of Thai society. That's what I'll say. Well, I think people know this story about me going to court. That was a big pain in the ass. I can tell the story real quick. I got to get it over with because I want to get back to this 2-week millionaire thing. I used to go to Terme all the time. Now, I was with my wife. I think we were married at the time, but I don't think we had kids. And I said, I'm going out. Okay. And she knew I used to go out and I'd come home 3, 4 in the morning or whatever, but I never cheated on her. She trusted me. So I would come home and, she'd be sleeping and, whatever. That would be it. But one night I went out and I went to Nana Disco, Angels Disco, as it ended up being called. And I was in the bar. The whole thing was the bar. I was in there, and some guy is, people used to walk around like on the outer edge of the place in a circle, and they would look for women. And they're not murky at all. They're very easy. And so the guy bumped into me, and I thought, son of a bitch. And so I said something to him. I said, excuse me. Blah, 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 blah. And so I stopped and I thought to myself, fuck this guy, man. And I said, hey, you want, we can go outside and talk. Okay. So he starts walking outside. He's got his beer bottle in his hand. He comes out with 3 of his friends. So the girls who knew me there saw this going on and they walked out with me. And they said, man, want to fight you? I said, yeah, he wants to fight me. I said, let's go. Let's go outside, She goes, friends no go. Friends, they stay here. You two, you go. And I'm like, okay. And so he didn't want to do that. So, okay, no problem. So then I see him again, and he's still a drunk asshole. He's from Denmark, and he was a drunk asshole. Every time I saw him, he always was shit faced. So he's in Therme one night, and I have told this story before, but it's been a while. He's in Therme, and people are walking around. They have the same thing. It's kind of a circle, small circle. You walk around like you're looking for chicks. Oh, that one's good looking. Well, maybe I'll come back to her. Oh, I got to take a piss. And then you keep walking around. I'm walking and walking, and I'm just standing there. And the guy comes up, and he's like, trying to get past me. And I'm like thinking to myself, this is that same asshole. I ain't moving. I'm standing where I'm standing. He can go around me. So he gets in my face, and he started saying something, and the spit got in my face. And I thought to myself, I told my friend about what had happened, and my friend said, "Oh, I'm surprised you didn't, just go off on him, because that's kind of like your nature. You just, okay, well, let's fight." And so some spit got on me, and I thought to myself, my friend thinks I won't go after this guy. That he thinks it's good that I don't go after this guy, but this is too much. The guy gets in my face, and he's like practically spitting on me. And I said, this is fucking bullshit. And I just went, bam, and I hit him. He went backwards, and I hit him like 15 times. Like with 15 left hooks, I hit him. He slid down onto the floor, and I'm like kicking him. He's done. I start walking to the door immediately because I'm like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And the undercover police officer that I knew who he was, and he was there, and he grabbed me by the back of my pants. He goes, you cannot go. I went, oh, man. And so they called the police. And the guy, he had a broken tooth. He had a black eye. His nose was all bloody. He had a fat lip. He was all fucked up. I mean, really. And so I get into the car with him, and I'm speaking, cop, 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 to the police, cop home. I'm speaking very politely. He is screaming and yelling. So immediately I have an advantage. I thought, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's an asshole. So we get to the police station. He files charges against me, and they say, well, we have to put you. It was in the police station down by Rajdivner. They put me in a room, and they said, you can't go anywhere. You got to stay here. I said, all right. Next thing you know, my wife comes, and she's pissed. Now, the guy is still sitting there, and she sees the guy, and she looks at me, and she goes, what did you do? What did you do? You're going to go to jail. She's all freaked out. And I was like, it was self-defense. I was like, fuck him. I was pissed. So she called a lawyer. The lawyer came in, and I mean, it's like 10 o'clock now, and we're in a meeting, and I'm dead tired. I've been up all night. I had been a little bit drunk. Not drunk, but I felt the alcohol a little bit. And we sit in this room, and it's one big table, and there's like 6 cops sitting there, me, my lawyer, and my wife. And the guy goes, okay. So he starts talking. He goes, I tell you what, 400,000 baht and no more problem. It's go away. We pay him 40,000 for his face. We keep something. We have to pay something. Da, da, da. And I go, fuck you. I ain't giving you shit. I don't know why it was that disrespectful, because I had been respectful the whole time. But I just go, fuck you. You ain't getting 400,000 out of me. Fuck you. What are you going to get? You're full of it. And they all go, they all freaked out because I said, fuck you. And the lawyer goes, okay, everybody relax. And so then everybody kind of, after we talked a little bit more, the people walked out of the room. There was one guy, and he comes up to me and he goes, I understand. We don't want your money, and this is not how we should do business. We forget. And I said, okay, you can forget it, but I'm not going to forget it. You asked me for money. You're asking me for money outright. It's a bribe. And I was just like, fuck you. You ain't getting it, which was, in hindsight was probably pretty stupid, but I wasn't any worse off. Then they kept me in there. Then they said, okay, now we're going to transfer you to the jail. So I went to the nearest jail, which I think was right there in Rajdamnern. And they were totally cool with me. They're like, oh, we leave the cell open. If you want to go get something to eat, you can go out and get something to eat. But, we hungry too. Maybe you get something for us. So, I had a couple $100. I go out, I get a little fried rice, and I get them a fried rice. And I'm sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And finally, I get out, and I get out on bail. And it was not that much. It was only like 30,000 baht. So, my wife goes to the bank, gets the money. We pay it. I'm out. For 1 year, I had to go back to the court every single month and sign a paper saying I was still in Thailand. I did not leave. You cannot take my money, basically. And so that's what I did. And then finally, they said, okay, it's your court case. Do you want to bring any witnesses? I said, yeah, okay, I'll bring a witness, character witness. So I brought my friend who lives in Cambodia. And he said, this guy's pretty mellow most of the time. He doesn't ever want to do anything. But like, if you get in his face and start like really pushing him, he's probably gonna start fighting. He's not gonna sit back. He's not a pussy. He's not gonna sit back and just wait and see what happens. And, oh, I wish you wouldn't do this. No, that's not how I was raised. And so that's what he said. He goes, he can be the nicest guy and he doesn't have a bad temper and blah, blah, blah. And so then the judge goes, why is this case in my courtroom? And he said this to the police officers. He goes, why did you bring this to me? This is ridiculous. This is a clear case of self-defense. And this guy is not a bad guy. He didn't do anything wrong. Why are you trying to do anything? And they were like, oh, we're sorry. They're like, we're sorry. We're sorry. And I'm like, no, you were trying to get money out of me, you bastards. That's exactly what you were trying to do. Yes, I did fight the guy. The guy got in my face and I lit him up. And so they said, okay, that's it. They gave my 30,000 baht back and said, that's it. No more problems. Don't do it again. I got my 30,000 and I left. And the thing is, the Danish man never even showed up in court. So it was very, very easy. Did you learn a value lesson about walking away after all that? Thai society frowns upon violence very much. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Really. Get the fuck out of here. Judgmental as fuck. Yeah, but you're pretty judgmental for being somebody who doesn't know shit about Thailand. You may think you know. You may have been here 5 months, but you don't really know. Thai society frowns upon violence, but then why is it that violence happens here against foreigners quite often? Look in Pattaya how many times there are violent activities that happen. Because after a while, people get fed up with the shit. They're in a bar and the guy's badgering the bouncer, and the bouncer just goes, listen, buddy, if you want to come in and have a good time, you can. If you don't, get out of here. And the guy gets in their face and goes out on the street and challenges them. And the guy's going, I don't want any problem. Finally, he just goes, fuck this shit. You want a problem? Okay, bam, bam. He may have taken Muay Thai for a year, but he knows how to throw a couple of good punches and he knocks the guy out. And the guy's laying there, why did he hit me? Why is Thailand so violent? Because they don't play that shit. That's why. I haven't had a fight in years, many years. And the reason is because I never want to get into that. But when you go into a bar, hey, man, shit happens. And that's the way it works. And if you don't think that that's the way that it works, I think you need to look online and see exactly what happens. So please don't tell me that Thailand frowns on violence. Thailand frowns on people getting angry and losing their temper. But if some guy came up to me, let me tell you something. In my village, The last time I ever had a fight, and this is probably 10, 12 years ago. I don't know, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little more. There's a guy in the village. He's the handyman, but he's also a guy who talks a lot of shit. No, I didn't get angry. I just beat the fuck out of him. That was it. I didn't have to get angry. But the guy is a handyman. He comes up, he's walking around the village with two big sticks, a metal one, a metal rod, and a wooden stick. And he's walking around threatening people in the village. And people are like, ugh. And these are like Thai old ladies, older men that are now my age. And they're like going, what is this guy doing? And the taxi driver had told me, oh, that guy is no good. Sometimes he gets off after we take him somewhere and he goes, I don't pay. I'm not paying you. And he came up to my door at my house, my gate at my house. And he started screaming at me. And I walked out very calmly and I said, please just go home. You can go home. It's very easy. Just walk home. You'll be home in a couple of minutes. No problem. But stop yelling at me. And then he said, fuck your mother. So I went outside. And then he took a swing at me with the sticks. As soon as he made a swing at me, that was it. It was over. I fucked him up. And I don't feel bad about it at all. Not at all. I fucked him up. I knocked him out in front of about 20 fucking Thai people. Nobody said one word. Not because they were scared of me, because he got what was coming to him. And they knew it. Now, what I would probably do now is I would probably just walk back inside, lock my door. And if the guy came inside my yard, that would be a different story. But for the most part, he probably wouldn't do that. And I would just walk away from it. So, you can say whatever you want about losing my temper, but I was very calm. And that's the thing. There's no reason to get angry. I wasn't angry about anything. I just didn't like what the guy was doing. And if the guy took a swing at me, well, you're asking for it. Yeah, the cops won't do anything. The cops will go, oh, you tried to hit him with those two sticks? Done. Sorry, we're not taking him to jail. So, anyway, let's move on from this. Okay, this is not about me and the fights and all that, because I know plenty of people have had plenty of fights in their life. But, the thing about the millionaires, 2-week millionaires, is that they tend to treat money like monopoly money. And, they're out getting the whatever scooter they want. They want the big, they want the big 750 or 1,000 motorbike, and they're out racing around like they own the place. They'll. I mean, I had a buddy who was exactly like this. We went to Lumpini Stadium. We'd get like 2 or 3 beers, which was at the time was maybe 150 baht, and he'd give them 1,000 and go, just keep it. Then he'd give 1,000 to the fighter. Then he'd give 1,000 to the fighter who won. And I was like, what are you doing? And he wasn't all that well off. You buy drinks for strangers at the bar that people will never, you're never going to see the guy again. They don't give 2 shits about you. They're just sitting there minding their own business. And you're like, oh, let me get you a drink, buddy. Just so that the girls will call him a big spender. And then they'll tell you about it in English, in front of other English speakers, So, I mean, for me, the craziest flex that I've seen is guys who buy the ping pong balls in the buckets. I forget what it is. It's 500 or 1,000 baht. Maybe it's 1,000 baht for a big bucket. And then you throw the ping pong balls all over, and the girls catch it, and they get, I don't know what they get, 20 baht, 50 baht, 100 baht. Well, I didn't have the option to leave my house now, did I? He's in front of my house, standing on my property, and he threatened me. So he got what's coming to him. It was that simple. End of story. And this is Thailand. This ain't America. And this ain't England. This ain't Australia. This is Thailand. And for some asshole who swings at you and he gets the shit beat out of him, like they say here, some namna, you get what you deserve. I don't know how are the modern 2-weekers, how are they different from the older 2-weekers? I don't really know what it is. You know, and some of them, it's kind of like, you know, they want to leave a tip. Um, changing the 20,000, making it rain. Yeah, but that you're doing the same thing with the ping pong balls in a bar. You know, I mean, you're talking about for 20 notes, that's 50 baht notes. They get the same thing with the ping pong balls. And it's fun because the girls, you know, the girls are dressed skimpily. They're bouncing around all over the place trying to pick up the balls. They think it's so much fun. You know, they're trying to grab all the balls so they get all this money. Whatever your poison is, it doesn't really matter. But, you know, basically giving them too much money. You know, if you tip them 500 baht, they think that you need to, that the girl needs to name their first child after them. And maybe in like sometimes it's day one, but day 3 or day 4, they've got Thailand all figured out. They think they're the expert, and they're trying to explain how Thailand is to the Thai people. They're telling you which street food is authentic Thai food, as if they invented pad Thai. They start throwing out Thai words that they're pronouncing kap kun kup kap with the confidence of some native speaker. I don't get what you're saying here. I don't connect to what you're saying with 2-weekers. I never did the flashy thing. Actually, they prefer the rain because they get more with the balls in the pocket. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yeah, I don't really care about what they like. It's nice that they like it, but if I ever did that, and I did it a couple of times with the ping pong balls, it was for me. I didn't give a shit about the girls. That's the thing. You guys mistake. I'm not the kind of guy that is like thinking to myself, how can this girl get everything from me? Listen, women get things from men all the time. What do you get from them besides a piece of ass? Think about it. Now, they may have your kids and be a good mother and stuff like that. And okay, that kind of equals it out. But in the case of girls in a bar, what are you getting from them? You get a piece of ass, but they get something from you too. They may get a couple of big O's, you know, they might get a couple of orgasms. They might be shaken. They might, you don't know. They're having their fun too. So, you know, there's a fine line. Now, I don't know if you've heard this before, but how many times have you heard some guy who, you know, he's here for 2 weeks and they're telling people what is wrong with Thailand and how they can fix it. And then they complain that the beer is too goddamn cold. You know, so when I hear this kind of shit, I just go, I don't want to fix Thailand. Thailand has its share of problems, and that's how it is. And the people have a hard time. I'm talking about the government has a hard time trying to figure things out. Maybe because they don't think things through. I don't know what it is, but it is what it is. That's the thing here. You accept shit or you go home. And I haven't gone home in 31 years. So I don't know. I look like, and I'm still pretty happy. You know, I don't really like the things going on with the banks, but you know, in time, maybe it'll change over. Who knows? You know, I hate to say this, but there used to be a guy. He used to be a regular in the chat, and I knew him fairly well. Man, he used to try to speak Thai, and it was the absolute worst Thai that I've ever heard in my life. And I'm not saying that I speak perfect Thai, but I heard him and I would just cringe. I didn't even want him to try around me because his Thai was so bad. And, you know, everybody used to laugh at him, and he'd be like, what? I must be blessed not noticing those tourists around, luckily. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you're blessed or not. I have no idea, dude. Absolutely no idea. Let me see here. You know, like I said, they after a couple of days, they think they've cracked the code living here. This is a tourist. Now you're a tourist and you come here and you're like, I could live here. I'm ready to move here. It took me 5 times before I said that. Even after the 4th time, I didn't. After 4 times here, I still didn't think that I had cracked the code and I was ready to relocate. I didn't even think about it. After 5 times, I thought, that was the time that I took the trip down the mapping, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I don't need much money. I could live here. I could be very happy, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know about visas. I didn't know about anything. I winged it 100%. I admit that. And I very luckily, the laws and the rules, the immigration rules they were lax enough that I could find my way around and end up living here full time. And then, I'll never forget it when I was 50 and I had my wife there with me, and the lady goes, "Why are you on a marriage visa?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, the marriage visa, we have to go out there, or sometimes we come out and visit and make sure that everything's okay. You got to bring all these pictures. You got to do this. You got to do that." She goes, "A retirement visa is much easier." I said, "Oh, wow. Well, can I do that?" "Oh, yes, you can. You can just change it right now." I said, "Really?" Boom. Like that, retirement visa. Piece of cake. So, that's to me when I went, all right, now I'm 50 and I've cracked the code now. I'm all right because I can always be here as a retiree. But these guys that come, they're the ones, and I hate to say it, there are people in this stream who have said it. I could buy a bar here. Yeah, okay. And you're going to lose your ass. Everybody who I know who bought a bar in Thailand, everybody who had not been someone who had bars back in the US or Australia or wherever, or had experience in the bar scene. And I don't mean like they were a bouncer. I mean, they were like the general manager of a big bar or something like that. People like that tend to make it. And I used to, in Phuket, when I lived in Phuket, I used to go to the Rock Hard A Go Go all the time. I think the place is still up, but it's obviously it doesn't have the same. The guy was the owner of like 3 bars, and he knew his shit. The problem is he liked to get fucked up too much. Uh, okay, that's the kind of guy that he owned the bar and made money at it. But most people, they don't know shit, and they're going to buy a bar and they're going to fall on their face very easily. Um, and then these guys are the guys who they meet some girl and they're like, "Oh, honey, you can show me how I can buy a condo. I'm going to buy a condo here. I want to live here. You can live with me, babe." He's known her for like 3 weeks, and now she's his big honey. He thinks it's so cheap because he's pissing money away. He might be pissing away $150, $200 a day, and he thinks, "Oh, this is so cheap." Come to find out that when you live here, it's a little more expensive, and that things add up. And if you don't have an exorbitant amount of money, if you're spending say 10,000 baht a month pissing it away, well then you're losing money. If all you have is $10,000 a month and you're pissing it away, well, guess what? You're not doing very well for yourself. Um, but these guys, they come over here, they have their fun, they go back home, they might have 2 car payments, a mortgage, they might have a wife and a kid in a private school, and then they've got their boss emailing them, telling them what they need to do next month, what their schedule is, and they're stressed out. But they come to Thailand, man, it's a place to relax. And that can be a good thing, or, you know, um, it can be a bad thing. But, it's kind of like if you've only been here a week, I don't really think that you're in a position to say, this is the place for me. I want to live here. I think it takes a little bit longer than that. And I used to say, give yourself 6 months to a year. Come here for 6 months to a year. If you like it after that, then you say to yourself, okay, I want to live here. Then you go back home, you set up everything, get everything ready, then you move here, and then that's it. And you can always move somewhere else or move back home. But for the most part, if you just move here after a week or two, I just don't think it works very well. I think a lot of the people, they think they want to live here, but they don't really, because they don't want to put up with the shit and they don't understand. Well, why is it this way? Stop asking why, because that's the way you do it. This is Thailand. Anyway, well, what's going on here? Let me see. You got anybody here talking now? Doesn't look like it. Let me see. Raymond, I don't like how tourists try to change everything. Thailand has never been colonized. Well, they've never been colonized because the assets that they have are not exactly worthwhile. They don't have a shitload of oil that we can take from them. So I think there are reasons why they haven't been colonized. And also, they're a good place as a hub for military hub. But whatever, they haven't been colonized. And so when Westerners come here and think everything should be their way, it's just ridiculous. You got some guy and he's going, well, in my country, we've got this drink and that drink, and I don't know why they don't have it in Thailand. Why don't they do it this way? Why don't they do it that way? And the thing is that look at this guy who just came in today. This is the first time he's ever been in, Fraser. He talks a good game. Sorry, dude, if you're listening, but you talk a good game. But the reality is that most people who come here, they don't want to change anything. They don't want to change anything. Listen, even out on our farm, I've never seen a snake, ever. Ever. Not once. Now, I've seen an elephant because the place why am I big fella? My name is Scott. The place across the street from our house where we just purchased that, we have that piece of land now, and we're going to do something with it. The brother-in-law had an elephant for many years, and it finally died, which kind of sucked. Big animal like that, I don't know. I think they buried him somewhere on the land. I don't know, but it was kind of sad because he was a nice elephant. He was always very mellow. And the buffalo, there are buffalo around, but we don't have any, and I don't want any. And if my wife started talking about getting buffalo, I'd be like, hey, not a good idea. Not a good idea. You don't have to have buffalo on your land, because first of all, I don't want any buffalo meat. And if you want anything else from them, you can just buy it. It's just, there's other ways to make money. There's a lot of other ways to make money. All right, so listen. What do you mean the backstory? He's out. He used it to help with the rubber trees because he had to clear land and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know anything more than that. He had the elephant for years, a long time, 70 years, something like that. Let's see here. Yeah, they live to be 60, about 60 years old, maybe 70. And I think this one was something like 56 or something like that. So, you know, but I made a video and showed it in the video, and I took photos of it, and I still have the photos, and you know, but anyway, I mean, there's elephants. There are wild elephants. There's wild elephants down in Suratani. There's wild elephants in Prajuap. They've got a place where you can go and view them. There's wild elephants in Kankrachan, and there's tigers there. There's all kinds of stuff. So now, let's not forget about the last night of the 2-week Millionaire. Of course, they've got to have the shots. The shots are nonstop. B-52s, tequila, whatever it might be. They have the Chang Towers, um, and you know they may have the beach chair nap that they'll regret when they finally wake up. Um, and then of course they may get some food because they want to remember the Thai food, and it might be Thai food that doesn't agree with their stomach. You never know. But the next morning they're at the airport. They're wearing their sunglasses indoors, smelling like Red Bull, maybe smelling like BO. They got the Singha shirt on, and they're convincing themselves, oh, it's not going to be, I'll be back in 6 months. I'm going to be back. And so then once they get home, Thailand is like the I got the biggest fish. Every year the trip that they had gets wild and wilder and wilder. And maybe they come back, maybe they don't, but the girls always get prettier. Oh, she was drop dead gorgeous. Oh my God, I've never seen a girl so beautiful as her. Okay. Um, the nights, they always seem like they think the nights are never ending, and of course they do end. The parties were yeah, it smells a little bit, but you know, I guess if you drank a couple of Red Bulls, you can smell them. The reality is that sometimes they were in bed at 11 o'clock half the time because they were too pooped from partying, and they may be sunburned. It was kind of funny because you know Alex he went fishing down in Hua Hin. He comes back, he's sunburned. I go, Alex, don't you use sunscreen? I go, what the hell are you doing? He's like, no, I didn't use any. I forgot. And I go, well, you shouldn't forget. But okay. So now he learned his lesson because he's like, I'm so sunburned. I can't even work out. It really hurts. Well, it's funny how, you know, there are 12 when you go to sleep. When you're done banging them, you go to sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, there are 3. I've never ever tried the girl standing on the street, whether it's in Bangkok or um, what do you call it? Patia. No way, man. For what? You know, I don't want some. You know, the thing is, I don't want a skank. I don't want some skanky whore who's going to give you some disease. I mean, that's just stupid. How much does it cost to feed an elephant? I have no idea, man. I'm sure it ain't cheap though. I'm sure it ain't cheap when it costs about $75 to feed our freaking cats. 2 cats. Let me think here. It's not $75. Maybe it's 50 or $60. That's just to feed the cats. And I'm like, what? It's too much. Get rid of these little cats. They can go find food for themselves. Yeah, Beach Road. No, thank you. Why? Why are they working on Beach Road? Oh, they don't want to have to pay any money to the mama son. Yeah, okay, that's it. Sure. If you believe that, I got a plot of land in Florida to sell you. I got a swamp to sell you. Been to Angeles many, many times. Been to Phnom Penh many, many times. I've been there more than I've been to Phnom Penh probably 50 plus times. Well, the one that we get, it's 750 baht for 5 kilos, and that 5 kilos goes in about 2 weeks. So it's about 1,500 baht, and then we buy soft food. We give them some soft food in the morning also, and that is, let me think here. It's 100 baht for five, so 20 baht each, and we buy probably 10 or 15 at a time. Well, that's the Purina shit. It's good. It's like their premium stuff. It's what my wife wants to get them. Well, I don't know that she's worth that, quite honestly, but she's a Siamese cat for what that's worth. I liked, I like Phnom Penh, but like for the girl scene, it's got nothing on Thailand. It's not even close. I mean, I used to go to Cambodia when it was like $2 for a blowjob, and it was just nasty. As far as Angelus goes, Angelus was all right. The girls were all right, but they all want the same thing. They want a guy who's going to take care of them. They want money, whatever it is, and it's not. I grew out of that shit. I don't need that. What do I need that now? What the hell do I need that now for? I mean, really, if I was to tell my wife, "Oh, I'm going to go to the bar and I'm going to go find myself a girl just so I can get laid," my wife would be like, "What? What are you? What got into you?" Well, I mean, yeah, every guy wants to. Maybe they want to sample the goods and everything, but at some point you go, if I'm going to be married, why am I married if I'm going to be screwing all kinds of women? And I finally realized that, and that's how it works. Um, I'm not knocking people that are tourists who come here, and I still wish that Thailand just stuck with amazing Thailand, because it still is amazing. It's a pretty amazing place when you think about it. It's just like the United States in the regard that there's different topographies. The geography is very different all over the country. You could be at a beach, you can be in the city, you can be in the mountains, you can be wherever you want to be within a couple of hours here. And that for me is a big deal because, my wife said, "Listen, I think we need to start going down to Surat every month." And I go, "Every month?" I go, "You can go every month. I'll go every 2 or 3 months." Um, and she said, "Yeah, I want to make sure that the farm comes along and that, everything's going as planned. And, you know, that's what I want." And I'm like, "Well, that's fine. Um, I know what you should do and I know what you need to do. And I think you know what you need to do. We think the same. And that's fine, but I don't want to go every month." To me, I think that's a little bit of a waste of money. If you're going to go down there, then just go down there and stay down there, you know. Which, if she really wanted, she probably could. Maybe she could do that. I don't know. But that is not the ideal place for me. The ideal place for me is near the water. I like being near the water, not necessarily going snorkeling or scuba diving all the time or anything like that. I just want to be near the water. And the thing is that you guys should remember one thing, and that is that um, if you're visiting, you are just a visitor. You are a tourist, and you are living like a tourist, and that's how you should think of yourself. I'm a temporary visitor to this country. If you are an expat, you are still uh, someone who's been allowed to stay here by the government, but you are in more of a day-to-day mode of living as opposed to being a tourist and maybe being a 2-week millionaire. Um, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be. You can be a foreigner and you're not a tourist. I'm not a tourist. I hate to tell you that. There's no way I'm a tourist at all. And if you think I am, you're dead wrong. I'm not a tourist, buddy. And I think you really need to look it up and see what the definition of tourist is, as opposed to immigrant or expat, which is quite a bit different. Because guess what? As a tourist, most of the time, you might have to deal with immigration once or twice. Um, if you live here, you're paying rent or you are paying a mortgage or you paid the place off, whatever it is. But a tourist is not doing those things. And the thing is that you are navigating the good, the bad, and the ugly of living here. When you're a tourist, you basically, if you're smart, you're only going to places that you really want to see that you think are good. That's what most people do. So there's a huge difference between somebody who's a tourist visiting and an expat who lives here. And I hate to tell you, but there is a huge difference. Um, shit. Um, the 2 week millionaires are the ones who get the highlight reel, the Instagram version. They get the curated version. They don't have bills here. They don't have to deal with the bureaucracy very often at all. They shouldn't have very many bad days. And when the 2 weeks are over, the dream is over. And that is until they go on the next vacation if they decide to come here. And for those of us who live here, like me, you're going to tell me I'm a tourist after 31 years, buddy? I think you better think again. Um, it's a long-term relationship. You have to, it's kind of like being with having a wife. You have to learn and you have to get the intuition on if she is in a great mood, if she's not in a good mood, how do you treat her when she's not in a good mood? Do you just leave her alone? What do you do? And that's the same thing for here. Um, and to me, it's like a 2 week millionaire. I understand it. And I don't have any ill will against them or anything like that. They can enjoy their time here and maybe one day they'll learn, who knows? But maybe they'll just enjoy their time here. And that's what is really important. And in, say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they'll be gone. And we'll still be here dealing with everything that goes on here. That's the thing. You guys get to go home. I don't go home. You know, so dude, are you high on crack or what's your problem? You want me to ban you? I mean, are you just stupid? Massive pythons. Uh-huh. Okay. I'm not going to push back the camera at all. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Whether you're joking or not, it'll never happen. This is exactly where I want to be. It's beautiful. Fucking guy. You're a knucklehead. You're a knucklehead. Anyway, I didn't know it, but God, we've already reached the 2 hour mark here, which I had no idea we had spent that much time already, and that we've been streaming for that long. I didn't even know. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Was out last night and today in lower succumbent, but was prepared for sorry, don't accept cash, but so far they are still alive. Setting up my Moretta, so I'm prepared. But you don't have a Jim, but you still have a girlfriend here, right? But I mean, you don't have a bank account here. But if you have a girlfriend and you want to pay for something, I know I said that if it's something that you're going to be doing on a regular basis, but you're just here for I don't know how long, and then you're going to leave, and you just give the girl whatever money you want, and then that's it. But in a lot of places, they just accept cash, and that's how it is. But what I'm saying is there are an increasing number of companies that do not accept cash. So yeah, you don't even need to. You don't need Moretta Pay. If that was you, let me see here. Well, that's true there, Jeffrey. Yeah, setting up my Moretta. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Honestly, would I set up a Marina? No, not for me. And Wise has somebody said to me last night, well, Wise has a QR code, and then he came back and said you can't use it, which I already knew because I already talked to them about it. Um, and to be completely honest, I don't go into 7-Eleven very often. And 7-Eleven will take your True Money. And I was qualifying for True Money. I qualified, and they said, okay, we'll get back to you in a couple of days. And then they wrote me back and they said, sorry, you don't qualify. And I went, I did everything they asked for. I got all the photos. I got the everything that I needed. I showed them. You got to put up your passport next to your face and all this other kind of shit. And they said, no, 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 sorry, you can't. And I just went, you know what? I don't need you. I don't need you. I never need you. I don't need you for shit. I don't need True Money. They need me. I don't need them to pay anything. Now I can pay I have True Internet, and I can pay my internet bill right on my phone with an app. I got my bill for AIS, and I can pay that right through my app. I can pay just about everything through the app, which I like. I like it's very convenient. You can do that, So anyway, all right. Listen, one last time, do me a favor, click the thumbs up, subscribe, hit the join button right down below where it says join, $1.99. Hit the super chat button. Nobody's hit the super chat today. Unbelievable. Hey there, Sammy. What's happening in Japan? How's life in Japan? Do me that favor, please. I appreciate it. Yeah, the thing is the convenience about the QR code and about the tap and all this other kind of stuff. The convenience is something that makes it very worthwhile. However, when you think about it, okay, they can track you, they can do all sorts of things. I don't know about it. But I'll tell you what, uh, even though I'm not going to be taxed here, I don't worry about it very often. I still thought I need to change to the US and use my card and do it because if you're using the Wise card, they only take a small percentage for the exchange fee. And once you're transferring any kind of money, you always pay an exchange fee. Always. So it doesn't make a difference to me. And I don't need that much cash here, you know. So to me, it's the wise move because I'm not bringing as much cash into Thailand anymore. And, if I go home, I may go home in February. I don't know. When I come back, maybe I'll bring $5,000-$10,000 and I'll just hold on to it. And when I need to change it, when the exchange rate is favorable, then I'll do that. So anyway, that's about all I have. That's about all we need to know about 2-week millionaires. You may have been one once or twice. Pretty easy to become one. I mean, I used to go back to the airport, and if I had $1,500 for say 10 days, 15 days, and by the time I got to the airport, I had like $20 in my pocket, and that was it. But that was the time when I used to carry cash, and I didn't use the bank cards and the QR codes. I mean, this is more than 30 years ago. Grateful I was able to to keep the Bangkok account. Other methods are a hassle. Lots of places are a pain exchanging bills. I don't even exchange the bills really ever. But I just don't do it now. They get exchanged through Wise. That's how I get all my money. So it's pretty good. Anyway, all right. So I guess that's it. I guess we're done. The mall is in full swing, which means it's time for me to go back home. So I guess I'll probably see you guys on this coming Thursday. Tomorrow is a big fight, MMA fight. And I want to watch that. So I won't be streaming. And I won't be streaming until at least Thursday of this coming week. So thank you very much for everything. I appreciate it. Because you expat me tourists. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Okay. Monday video. I'm not sure what it's about, but it might be about the banks. It might be about, what was the other one? Let me see here. Yes, it was fun. Great fun. It was not about the 2-week millionaire. It's not going to be Suratani. Shit, I don't know what it is. Let me see here. Hang on. It's either going to be stop scrolling, start living. Why everybody I see when they're out at a restaurant. I mean, I'm looking right now. Two people. There's 5 people sitting over here, and 2 of them are just staring at their phone. Here's another one. She walks up. She's staring at her phone. Another one over there staring at her phone. They're all staring at their phone. Is Thailand worth it? That might be the video tomorrow, or it might be about the scrolling things. They're not jackfruit. They're durian. And like I said, gender identity, dude, don't even bring that shit into my stream. Get the fuck out of here. Seriously. You want to fuck with me? That's how you fuck with me. Say something again about gender identity and you will get banned faster than you think about it. Do you have the video of the guy getting, they're not jackfruit, they're durian. Reading, ask me anything. Oh, okay. Thank you, comment 2 stars. Yeah. All right. Enough said. Time to go. Don't ever say anything to me about gender identity. There's only 2 genders, period. That's it. All right? I never want to hear anything about it other than that. So I will talk to you guys later. See you later. Thank you very much. Appreciate everything. And I'll talk to you later. Ciao. Choke me, little jerk and my.